What a lot of people don't know is the reason why we ended up selling the company. And it's because the company culture just went completely downhill. And I remember when it was just 5 or 10 of us, it was kind of like your typical .com back in the day. We were working around the clock, sleeping under our desks, had no idea what day of the week it was, trying to remember to shower every few days. But it was a lot of fun. And as we were growing, we had friends that were on trips across the country on vacation, and they would stop by and hang out for a day or two, and then we'd hire them, and they never made their way back home. And that got us to about 15 or 20 people, and then when we got to 20 people, it was still a lot of fun, but we ran out of friends. And so we started hiring people that had all the right skill sets and experiences, but they weren't necessarily good for the culture. And there wasn't any one hire that made the culture go downhill, but just slowly over time, by the time we got to 100 people, I myself dreaded getting out of bed in the morning to go to the office. And that was kind of a weird feeling, because this was a company that I had co-founded and felt like I had lost control of the culture, and if I felt that way, wondered how all the other employees felt. So that's really what drove us to sell the company to Microsoft. I'm sure many of you have heard last July Amazon announced they were acquiring Zappos, and that deal officially closed in November. But actually, it's very different from most deals that Amazon has done. In most of their deals, the plan is to acquire the company and then integrate it into Amazon. For this, as a precondition for even talking about the scenario, we told them we wanted to remain independent and continue to grow the Zappos brand and our culture and our way of doing business our way. And so they've stayed true to their word, so we're pretty happy with that. And basically, instead of flying once a quarter to the Bay Area for board meetings, we now fly once a quarter to Seattle. So most people, when they hear about Zappos, think of us as an online retailer of shoes, because that's how we started. But internally, we have a saying. We say that we're a service company that just happens to sell shoes. And we actually sell a lot more than shoes now. We sell clothing, even beauty products, kitchenware, houseware. And our whole goal is that we're hoping 10 years from now, people won't even realize we started out selling shoes online. And we really just want to build our brand to be about the very best customer service. And we've grown from basically no sales in 1999 to, in 2008 was the first time we hit $1 billion in gross merchandise sales, and we're continuing to grow. In Q1 of this year, our net sales were up almost 50% year over year the previous year. And the #1 driver of all that growth has been through repeat customers and word of mouth. So our whole philosophy is, let's take most of the money we would have spent on paid advertising and paid marketing, and instead invest into the customer experience and let our customers do the marketing for us. What we found is on a lot of other e-commerce websites, most of their investment is on what happens in order to get the customer's credit card number, whereas we really focus on what happens after we get the credit card number from the customer. So on any given day, about 75% of our orders are from repeat customers. And when people ask us, well, what does it mean to give great customer service? Well, these are some of the questions we think about. We think about what customers expect and then what they actually experience. And so when you go to our website, I'm sure as many of you know, we offer free shipping both ways. So a lot of customers will order 10 different pairs of shoes, try them on with 10 different outfits in the comfort of their living room, and send back the ones they don't like or don't want. And we encourage that type of behavior. We've actually found that customers with higher return rates, maybe on a per order basis, are less profitable, but in terms of actual dollar basis, end up being more profitable than customers that never return anything at all, because they end up being more comfortable with the process and trying out new products that they wouldn't normally try out if it wasn't free shipping both ways. And our warehouse is located about 15 minutes from the UPS hub in Louisville, Kentucky. And because of that, and because we also do surprise upgrades to overnight shipping for most of our loyal repeat customers, a lot of our customers order as late as midnight Eastern, and then their shoes show up on their doorstep 8 hours later. And that creates that whole wow experience and emotional impact that causes them to remember us for a very long time and tell their friends and family about us. As kind of low-tech and unsexy as it may sound, our belief is the telephone is one of the best branding devices out there, because you have the customer's undivided attention for 5 to 10 minutes. And what we found is if we get the interaction right, that's something that customers remember for a very long time. And so we've also done studies where we found that customers that do come in contact with us end up buying more frequently and spending more money. So we're actually trying to figure out how do we get more customers to call us. So looking for a specific pair of shoes, if we're out of stock of their size, everyone's trained to look on at least 3 competitor websites. If they find it there, direct the customer to the competitor. And obviously we lose that sale, but we're not trying to maximize for every single transaction. We're trying to build a lifelong relationship with our customers. So for all this about building our brand to be about customer service is actually not our #1 priority. Our #1 priority is company culture. And our whole belief is that if we get the culture right, then most of the other stuff like delivering great customer service or building a long-term enduring brand or business will just happen naturally on its own. So there's a lot of stuff that we really invest in on the culture side. And it starts with the hiring process. When we hire people, we actually do 2 completely different sets of interviews. The first set is kind of your standard stuff that the hiring manager and his or her team will do, interview for fit within the team, relevant experience, technical ability, and so on. But then we do a second set of interviews done by our HR department purely for culture fit. And they have to pass both in order to be hired. So we've actually passed on a lot of really smart, talented people that we know can make an immediate impact on our top or bottom line. But if they're not a culture fit, then we won't hire them. And the reverse is true, too. Even if someone is a superstar at their specific job function, if they're bad for our culture, we'll fire them just for that reason. And our performance reviews are 50% based on whether the employee is living and inspiring the core values of the company, which is essentially a formalized definition of our culture. If we're serious about building our brand to be about the very best customer service, then customer service shouldn't just be a department. It should be the entire company. The other thing we do is at the end of the first week of training, we make an offer to the entire class. And the offer is this: we will pay you for the time you've already spent training, plus a bonus of $2,000 to quit and leave the company right now. And that's a standing offer until the end of training, and then we actually extended a couple months after that and up it to $3,000. And the reason we do that is because we want, in Las Vegas there's plenty of other call centers. Starting pay is $11 an hour, and we don't want someone that's there just for a paycheck. We want employees that are there because they really believe in the long-term vision of the company and really feel like this company culture is one that they want to be a part of and contribute to. So for the next several years, at least, the way we're thinking of the Zappos brand is internally we refer to it as the 3 C's: clothing, customer service, and culture. And this is essentially based on the life cycle of the customer. So customers that have never heard of Zappos have no idea what we do. We want them to know that we have a great selection of clothing and footwear and other product categories. Once they know about that, then we want them to know that we're all about the very best customer service. And that's not something that so much we tell them as they experience when they call our call center or experience that surprise upgrade to overnight shipping or see how easy the free return shipping is. And once they know that we're all about the very best customer service, then we want them to know about our culture and our core values, because that's really the platform that makes everything possible. So we've actually had customers tell us that when they get that perfect pair of shoes or perfect outfit, that Zappos is happiness in a box. So whether it's the happiness that that customers feel when they get that perfect outfit, or the happiness that customers feel when they experience great service or have a great customer experience, or the happiness that employees feel from being part of a culture where the core values of the company match their own personal values, the thing that really ties all of these things together that we realize is that Zappos is really just about delivering happiness, whether it's to customers or employees, and we apply that same philosophy to vendors as well. And sometimes the reaction that we get from other companies is, okay, you're an internet company, special rules apply to you. And the reason why I included those other stories in there are because one of them, for example, is the Atlanta Refrigeration Company in Atlanta, Georgia. They do refrigeration repairs out in the field. And so in some ways you can't think of a more opposite company or industry than Zappos. And they came through our offices and then actually went through our Zappos Insights program where we helped them figure out their core values and how to build their own strong cultures. And then they went back, and within a relatively short period of time, their customers are happier, their employees are happier. It's really neat actually seeing the before and after pictures, and their profits and revenues are up. So it's just pretty cool seeing the same concepts apply and work in other industries.